A quote just came in my head.
Oh, what's the quote?
You are living with sickle cell, not for it. So.
Period. You are living with sickle cell, not for it. I love that.
Okay. So
that's a bar.
Hi, Lupe.
Hey.
Congratulations on starting your Sickle Cell Sunday podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Toluope Afolabi. Lupe is one of my nicknames. I am the founder of iFightForSickleCell. I started Sickle Cell Sundays a long time ago, and now I'm turning it into a podcast series.
Awesome. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us what age you were first diagnosed with sickle cell?
My mom knew I had sickle cell before I was born. So they had told her that I had sickle cell. And I think after me, like the years after me, is when they started doing like official screening beforehand for people to know.
Okay. Can you tell us how this impacted your childhood?
I would say as a child, I kind of lived in like a turtle shell. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of my childhood memories like are in the hospital. Like I'd be at the hospital a lot. I remember like playing games in the game room, them rolling out the TV and letting me pick a movie. Not really being outside with friends, or if I was very selective. Mm-hmm. I didn't go out or talk to too many people. I often felt isolated. I would say like around high school was when I got like involved in a lot of stuff. But it was just that I still had that isolation outside of those organizations or clubs.
Okay. Can you describe your pain experiences?
Yeah, I would say my pain experience would be like, often feels like a form of torture, like my body's torturing itself in a way. Lately this year was worse, of course, but it varies. Like sometimes if there's pain in my back, like it would feel like I was being ran over repeatedly. Or if there was pain in my joints, I would use the metaphor of like Hulk or Thor, like trying to rip, my joints apart for people to grasp that pain, that aching feeling. Sometimes you just can't do nothing but like scream and cry because it's so bad.
Yeah, I remember you used to say you felt like somebody was like taking a knife and stabbing you and
twisting it around. And that pain has kind of changed into that more like pulling, aching feeling. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you tell us how this has affected your life?
I would say having sickle cell has made me guarded in a way. Okay. I definitely, look at things a lot differently compared to other people because like time is of essence when you have something like this. Like, it makes me cherish people and things a lot more because you never know when it's your end. And it's just like, there's so many people with this disease that are no longer here or, can be gone tomorrow. And so for me, it's like, do what you want, when you want, like live life and enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah, I can definitely say that you you do move in that way where you always kind of felt like life is short and you did everything that you wanted to do, even though like as a family member, we're always trying to guard you and we're always trying to like keep you from being in a place where you're just by yourself. Right. But you've always been like, I gotta do what I gotta do to move forward. What do you think inspired you to start iFightForSickleCell, and why is that important?
So just being on the patient side of things, you see one perspective of like the lack of education and advocacy. Mm-hmm. Pursuing a career in healthcare, you see the other side of it as well. And I remember when I joined my sorority, I started leveraging that platform to spread awareness. And one of my friends created a page that was pretty popular. And I asked him to collaborate so we could, have a bigger platform to spread awareness on sickle cell. And I remember he told me, think of a hashtag that nobody has. And from there it was hashtag iFightForSickleCell, and we did, different things on social media. I started like a challenge where people would like record a video, share a fact of something they learned from sickle cell, and then end it with iFightForSickleCell. So for a while it was just a hashtag, and then I think in the pandemic is when I did most of my work, where I started Sickle Cell Sundays on Clubhouse, and every single Sunday for like the pandemic, we had various discussions on sickle cell.
Yeah.
And it built a community. Like there were people from India that joined, Nigeria, my UK fam. And I was shocked. I just saw a new platform. I knew sickle cell wasn't on it, and I brought it to the app. Never expecting it to blow up the way it did, to where caregivers participated in our conversations, doctors, friends, like you name it, everyone was there, and we were able to find middle ground and discuss various things. And so through my work and support that I received from that, I was like, take this hashtag and do more. And so I, founded my nonprofit by myself, got it incorporated, got our 501c3 status, and I've been doing it since. And I think the importance of it is being able to be someone with this, but do more for people with it as well.
Yeah. So the Clubhouse was definitely, I think, one of the best things that you ever did.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Because I think that although you are a warrior as well, I think that Clubhouse was really an advocacy on behalf of other sickle cell patients, because you definitely give them tips on how they should be in the hospitals and the things that they should ask for. So I thought that was really great.
Thank you.
So you've obviously been living with sickle cell all of your life. Can you tell me how that has affected your relationships on a personal level, as well as on a professional level?
Okay. Personal. Now, when you say personal, like friendships or romance?
So personal, I would say start with family.
Okay.
Because obviously you are one of many, but how do you think it felt having a sibling who didn't go through that pain that you did on the family level? As far as friendships, how has that affected your friendships with other people, and even in relationship, like romantic relationships as well?
Yeah. On a family level, like having growing up with my closest sibling, sometimes it would be hard, because it's like, damn, like he can go out and like be free without restrictions and be okay, and I can't. So there was like, some regret of not being able to do that as well. And we fought like cat and dog growing up. So I think like maybe that had a piece of it as well in there. I don't know, but we're like so good now, and he's learning my disease more now, so it's gotten better for sure. But there's also still that disconnect with, I've lived it, you haven't. So you'll never fully get to understand. So like sometimes, like I know it comes from a good place where he's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you try this? And it's like, I know my body and my health. I've been living with it. So there's that. As far as friendships, I think it's made me hold on to them maybe too much sometimes, just because I know the importance of life. I feel like sometimes, like with friendships, like I try to make sure they last, and sometimes you gotta let them go. And I try not to, because it's just like, in this world, get through life with who you have and try to keep those people close for as long as you can, because you never know. So that's that. Romance. Romance is hard. I don't think it was easy for me. Like I said earlier, like having sickle cell made me isolated. So I never really like talked to boys till like later in life. And even then, I feel like it wasn't until a few years ago that I really understood how to navigate like having sickle cell and dating. So like I've always known, like I am never dating anybody with the sickle cell trait.
Absolutely.
Me personally, I do not want to ever have my child experience the life that I have lived.
Yeah.
So that's like something that I know. Like if you have the trait, don't even shoot your shot. But also, I never realized, because I started dating later in life, I never realized the things that I would need from a romantic partner. And those are things that I recently learned, and I'm learning as I move forward. But like how you come with me to the hospital, I never, until like the last person I dated, realized, someone interested in me being present for the hospital means a lot. So I think it's impacted me in how I look at people that want to court me. Like, will you be there?
Yeah.
And how much can you be there? And what's your capacity like? Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do it. So I think it's made my pool a little smaller.
More selective.
Because, more selective. And we do live in like a selfish generation. So trying to find someone that's selfless is not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's impacted my relationships in that aspect. Like I have to look for someone that is truly selfless, and capable.
Yeah. We definitely had that conversation really recently, even with friendship. Like obviously with family, that's your family,
right.
So you have them. But with friendships, we had the conversation about nobody's obligated to stay, or deal with everything that comes with it. But I also think that you have such an aura about you that people are pulled to you, and it's always kind of like they see the outside and they see the surface, and then when the getting gets going, you see people kind of like pull away a little bit, which there's nothing wrong with that, because again, like we said, there's no obligation whatsoever. So with your friendships and with the relationships, what character do you think that you are looking for? If you could say, as a friend, if you're gonna be my friend, I have this disease. What would you tell people who are like, oh, I want to be friends with you, and they're like, okay, you love that way, blah blah blah. But they don't understand that in order to be that person, there's a lot that comes with it. And
that's a great question. I would say like character traits that I would look for or like want a friend to have would be like, I guess the ability to be open-minded, to have some level of selflessness, and caring capability. Like, for me, even if you don't show up, like let's say you hit me up and I'm not feeling good and I'm in the hospital and you're like, let's play iPhone games. That means a lot to me. Or you're like, here's a new show, like let's watch it together while you're there. Like little things like that where it's like it doesn't take too much out of you, but it still lets me know that you care or you're trying at least a little bit. It goes a long way for me. So I think just the ability to be creative in how you show up is a big thing for me.
So just showing up.
Just showing up. Yeah, showing up.
Showing up, having compassion and empathy.
Being empathetic for sure, Like don't sympathize with me, but have empathy on what I'm dealing with.
Don't feel pity.
Yeah, don't pity me. There you go. You get what I'm trying to say.
What about on a professional level? Can you
bosses?
So like college, professional life.
I think on a professional level, for people to have grace and understanding. I know it's hard to imagine something that you don't go through or that you can't see. That's one hard thing about sickle cell. It's an invisible disease. Like, I look great. Shout out to God and my mom and my dad, I guess. But I don't look like what I've been through. So often that makes it hard for people to empathize or have grace with me, because like, she looks fine. Like, she could come into work. She could come into class. But even though I look like my shoulders hurt now, she gave me a lidocaine patch earlier. You wouldn't know. So it's having that grace and compassion. Like, I remember in my nursing program, I was sick, and a teacher was like, maybe you should choose a different profession. But I remember a teacher beforehand, when they wanted to remove me from the nursing program from being sick, and they went and advocated for me and said, she has better grades than people that have been here every day. So those are two different types of teachers that I've experienced, but one has grace and look at me now, and one didn't. So I think having that compassion and just seeing that I'm trying, makes like I'm not a lazy worker. I'm not lazy with school. Like,
not at all.
Right. I get good grades. Yes. So, right. So it's like, even if I'm not there, I contribute as much as I can. I remember the previous job that I had, I was remote. I've taken my laptop in while I got in a blood transfusion, or with me to the hospital when I'm not feeling the best but stable enough to do work. So knowing that if I can, I will show up, and just being able to restructure some things to work with me and know that I'll give you my best if you give me your grace. So like, you know, thinking of like your typical 6 days, I may exceed those. So, you know, finding ways to shift things that work for me so that I can be the best employee or student for you.
So I'm gonna go back to the nurse that said that you should get out of the program. How does that make you feel? Because I'm pretty sure that's not the first time you've heard something like that. So when people say stuff like that, underestimating you, how does that make you feel?
It's painful. It's hurtful. It's in a sense traumatizing, but it's also motivation too. A lot of what I do is motivated by the no's and the rejections, and the people telling me I can't. Because the minute you tell me no and I can't, I don't care how long it takes, I'm gonna find a way and get it done to prove to you that I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
I think that's one of the things I love about you is your resilience. Some people may think that because of your disease, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you're always there to prove them wrong. So I definitely love that about you.
Thank you.
I also love that you mentioned how sickle cell is an invisible disease, and how people treat that or treat you because they see you traveling and doing all these things, and it's hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around that versus like a cancer where it's, you know, there are physical things. But yeah, definitely people should show more grace and empathy. So how do you think that you manage your sickle cell on a daily basis?
I try, when I'm like stable, I try to do as much as I can, like drinking a lot of water, knowing when to rest my body, which I've gotten better with as an adult, because younger me will keep going until I burn out. Exercising, I've noticed like when I did Pilates, it was like beneficial to like my muscles and my body and supporting my joints and stuff like that. So trying to live a healthy life on my end has helped me like balance it. Knowing who to call when I need support, making sure I have a medical team that I trust, doctors that listen to me, my nurse practitioner that listens to me, that are, you know, easy to access when needed. Things like that help me manage on a daily basis. Yeah.
So obviously you've had a plethora of medications growing up. So what would you say are some medications and treatments that have helped you throughout your journey as a warrior?
I don't know. I can't even really say, because, you know, there's been a shift in things throughout life, things that have worked, things that haven't, that I stopped, may have worked for a period and then ended. I'm still on folic acid, so I'll give grace to that, because that's the longest running medication that I have out of all of them. I will give credit to X-Jade or Desaferox, if I'm saying it right. I have iron overload, and that's been successful in bringing my iron down. You know, the iron overload came from having transfusions for so long. Yeah, so I would say those two I'll give credit to. And I'll leave it at that.
How do you think that your perspective on life has changed living with sickle cell?
Kind of like I said earlier, like I see that, you know, tomorrow's not promised. I see that I could be gone as, you know, quickly as I woke up. And even having like people that I know personally that have passed with this disease has just made me cherish like each day. Like every day I wake up, I'm always like, thank you. Like I'm literally like, thank you God for another day. Thank you for everything that I have. Thank you for everyone that's in my life. I'm just very grateful to be here. And every birthday I always, I feel it because it's another year added to my life that someone else may not have reached.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give a younger person who has younger sickle cell warriors? What would you say to them when it comes to like living life and just being motivated and encouraged?
My favorite quote, you have sickle cell, but it does not have you. Don't let anybody or anything tell you that you cannot. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a proper medical team, there's also a way. So having, a treatment plan that works for you and what you're trying to do in life makes a difference. But yeah, just, keep looking forward to tomorrow and know that, the world is within your reach. Just go for it. Yeah.
A quote just came in my head.
Oh, what's the quote?
You are living with sickle cell, not for it. So.
Period. You are living with sickle cell, not for it. I love that.
Okay. So
that's a bar.
So what about newly diagnosed sickle cell patients? What would you say to them?
That's a good one because I know there's people that have found out later in life they have sickle cell. It's not a death sentence. Yeah. There are people that have lived many years with sickle cell. So now that you know, do your best to educate yourself and those around you so you are all best prepared to prosper with it.
Absolutely. So how has your support system, including your mom, your dad, your friends, how has that influenced your journey?
I think the reason why I'm such a live your life, do what you want, you can accomplish everything is because of the support system that I have. I think like my mom, like you, my friend who's behind the camera, you can't see her. A lot of you guys give me so much grace and support in everything that I do that it's hard to not, just prosper and enjoy life because I know that I have you guys pushing me forward. Yeah.
So as somebody that has seen you in different stages of your life, can you tell me 3 different things that you have accomplished over the course of your 33 years living as a sickle cell warrior? What are the 3 things that you are proud of?
3 things that I'm proud of. Well, I kind of already said the nonprofit, so that don't count, right?
It counts.
Okay, so starting this nonprofit, being within the nonprofit, speaking up, becoming an advocate for myself and others. I know people that know me now would never believe, but I was quiet.
She's very quiet.
If you didn't talk to me, I was not talking to you. So being able to find my voice and, create this nonprofit where I continue to share my voice, absolutely one of them. Finishing school, becoming a nurse, that was the big one. I've always dreamed of giving back to patients beyond a hospital bed because I've been in their shoes, so that. And 3, I would say traveling.
Yeah.
A lot of people think with sickle cell, you cannot explore the world. I've been to Barbados, Nigeria. We're about to go to Costa Rica, Dubai. I've been to Dubai. I've been to London. I've traveled and
Bali.
Oh my God, Bali was so much fun.
Yeah.
I've explored the world and I'm gonna keep exploring, and I think that's a win in itself, being able to see this world that God has created and the beauties of different people and cultures. Yeah, that would be.
You definitely have traveled more than people who are healthy. So
right.
I give you kudos for that.
Thank you.
So what are your hopes for the future of sickle cell? What would you like to see in the future 5-10 years from now? How would you like the community to be?
5 to 10 years from now, I would love, if not everybody, a strong majority of people to know what sickle cell is, how it's inherited, if they have the trait, how to treat it for those that are in the healthcare setting, what steps to take, and how to, treat patients when they come to the ERs with pain without, being judgmental or biased, things like that. Better treatment options, better curative options, options that don't feel like you lose either way, if that makes sense.
So we've been talking about sickle cell since we started. Do you want to just tell us really quickly what is sickle cell and what are the different types and which one do you have?
Okay, good one. Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder. It causes your blood cells to be in a crescent shape versus a circular shape. And with that comes a lot of other issues. It can trigger vaso-occlusive crises, which is like pain crises. One way that I like to describe it to people that don't really have like a medical background or, you know, a big educational background is think of the blood in your body like the engine in your car. Mm-hmm. If your engine is not functioning properly, the rest of your car starts breaking down. With the blood in our system, with it not functioning properly, being that crescent shape versus whole, it can cause other health issues. Like, for example, AVN is something that I have, which is a deterioration of my bones. I had my hips replaced because of it. That stems from not having an adequate blood supply because mines are crescent shaped. They don't carry as much oxygen like the circular ones where they can flow, you know, the way they need to. And there's more to it. You can research it, go to the nonprofit page, find out more. Yeah. There's various types. There's sickle cell anemia, which is what I have, SS. There's sickle cell disease, SC. There's sickle cell beta thalassemia. There's O. There's E. There's a few of them, and I'll list them below. But yeah, there's different types. So even like, for example, if you get tested for the sickle cell trait, you will also want to get tested for like beta thalassemia because you can end up with sickle cell beta thal if one person has the beta thal trait and another has the sickle cell trait.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot.
But know your status.
Thank you for watching the first episode of Sickle Cell Sundays. This concludes our pilot episode, and for more information, head over to our website, www.iFightForSickleCell.org.